What if I told you that you could eat more and lose weight? And I know that's really annoying because people used to say that to me all the time and I would actually apply what they said and it didn't work. And it's because there are a few things you're missing that they may not have told you or that you didn't understand, because I didn't understand, and I follow all the health gurus and I do all the things people tell me to do, all the fad diets, all the things. I mean, you name it, I tried it, I did it. And over the last 10 years, I've been struggling with my body image, and I'm now at the point where I look and feel better and I understand my body and I have a very healthy relationship with my food, which is something I have never been able to say. So let me share with you in this video some helpful tips and tricks I think you might get something out of. Let's do it. My name is Abby. If you're new here, welcome. Let's just do a proper introduction. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm certified as a health coach, so all I can do is mentor your mental health in this. I'm not going to create a meal plan for you. Everything I'm saying in this video is from a personal experience and a lot of research that I've done, which I will source in the description box for you. I always just tried the thing that was trending or everyone said was changing their life, and that never seemed to work and it never seemed to stick until I figured this out. I want to start by saying that there are no quick fixes. There are aha moments that make it feel like, oh, okay, now I got this. And it's a learning lesson. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I wouldn't share this with you to steer you in the wrong direction. I know it's a touchy subject. I struggled with my own level of eating disorders in the past, so I never want to tell you to eat less. And that is not what I'm doing in this video. So please join me. I'm going to explain everything. Hopefully it's a little more clear. This is a part 2. I already did a part 1, so I'll link it above if you want to check that out. I just feel like there's so many unanswered questions that I didn't really explain properly in the first video. So let's do it. Very clean, natural. I want to start off by talking about the scale. I used to weigh myself by the tape measure because being a model for the past 10 years, I've always needed to fit within the certain measurement. And so for me, it wasn't necessarily the weight on the scale as much as it was how wide my waist or hips are. That was the way I measured it, and I became kind of a crazy person about it, and I was measuring myself like every single day, and it's just not healthy, especially as a woman. Our bodies change so much. Something that really helped me, made me feel so much more free, is that if you look at the chart of someone who is progressing in the right direction. So let's start from the top and let's go down. We would think that weight loss should be linear and we should always be losing. This is what a successful weight loss journey will look like for everyone. It's never going to just be one straight line down. So you need to give yourself grace. You need to remember that we are women and we have periods. We have way more variables than men. So of course we're going to have more of a fluctuation, but there are so many tools now and resources on how to manage those. But talking about the scale, that was something I never really did in the past and something I do now. I don't want to suggest to you, especially if you had an eating disorder at some time, to get on the scale and weigh yourself and feel bad about that number. For me, the biggest sigh of relief from an eating disorder to a healthy management is just taking the things that are shown to me and using it as education or knowledge to further the way I understand something. I wasn't weighing myself to feel bad about myself, even if I did feel bad. Like some days when I knew that I ate a lot the day before, I didn't want to get on the scale because I would know that that number was more, and then I would feel worse about myself, and then I would probably binge out that day again, and then that's when the cycle continues. But really what I was doing is getting a better scan. So I did the in-body scan. If you have access to something like that, or the DEXA scan, it's a really good way to benchmark where you're starting. And it's really important if you do the 75 hard challenge or any challenge, they really encourage you in the beginning to take a photo or weigh yourself or just some kind of benchmark so you know where you're at. And I think that's kind of the overarching theme of this video, is just understanding where you're at. Before anybody would ever ask me, like, what do you think I should do? Why can't I look like you? What should I be eating? I don't say, you should be eating this. I say, well, how often do you walk a day? How many calories do you burn in your workout? How many calories do you eat in a day? How many grams of protein do you get in a day? Do you weigh your food? And usually it's, I don't know. And so how are you going to improve on that if you don't know where you're at? Weighing your food, weighing your body, getting familiar with your routines will help you understand how to make better decisions in the future. I didn't know granola had like 300 calories for a half cup. That's like a whole meal. I could have a whole plate of chicken and broccoli and rice for like 350 calories. Or I could eat a half cup of granola. So the minute I made that understanding and switch, oh, if I only get X amount of calories in my day of eating, and then I eat a half cup of granola, of course I'm not gonna feel like I'm eating enough. Versus the person who's eating all the chicken and the rice, they're gonna be so much more full than the person that just ate the half cup of granola. It all comes from understanding what you are eating and how many calories are in your food. That's the important part. And I also wanted to mention about the scale. Sometimes I'll come back from vacation where I go to Italy or something and I like eat everything. Like Japan, I just went to Japan. I ate everything in sight. Pizza, udon, sushi, like you name it, I had it. I came back and I weighed less, but I didn't look better. And that's because my body was not strong. Muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle is way more dense than fat. And it also contains a lot more water than fat. And for me in the past, I used to be like, oh my God, if I work out, then I'm just gonna gain more weight. It's like, yeah, sure on the scale, but this photo of me when I was 130 pounds versus this photo of me at 130 pounds is a completely different body. One is strong and lean and toned, and one is just like fat. It's a fat version of me that I don't like. I will tell you, I went and I did an in-body scan where it told me my bone density, my skeletal muscle mass, my fat percentage, everything. And then a year later, I did it again. And a year later, I did it again. I work out like a maniac. At one point I was doing Pilates, another point I was doing strength training, and another point I was doing running, cardio. My weight fluctuated, but my muscle mass stayed the same. And I really work out, and I work out hard. I'm lifting like the heaviest amount of weight in my workout classes. That's why it's so confusing when people are so afraid to like go to the gym and lift weights and get bulky. If you're afraid of building too much muscle or looking bulky, please don't be. If you're eating a proper diet and lifting weights, you're going to just look snatched. I'm a perfect example of that. I was so afraid. I have like a bigger upper body. Like I look strong. My traps are bigger. I just look like a strong person. But at the same time, I was afraid of getting bigger. And at one point I did start getting bigger. One of the guys at the gym came up to me at one point. He's like, wow, you're looking great. And then a couple weeks later, I came in again. He's like, you're looking so good. Like a couple weeks ago, you came in here and you were looking like kind of bigger, like bulky. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. It was such a weird man compliment. So I brushed that off, but I was also like, okay, but that's because I was eating nut butters and I was eating a lot of high fat foods that had a lot of calories and I wasn't paying attention. And now that I pay attention and I've taken the time to educate myself on my intake of food, now I have a much clearer understanding of that. Talking about some foods that I've made the swap on, and none of these foods that I'm saying right now are like, don't ever have them, they're bad for you. I'm not saying they're bad for you. I made a TikTok talking about eggs and egg yolks and how I stopped eating as many egg yolks and avocados, and people came after me. They're like, oh my God, avocados are so good for you. Egg yolks have all the nutrients. And like, you're not wrong. You're absolutely correct. But what I said before that is if you're trying to lose fat and be in a calorie deficit, eating things with higher fat volumes is not going to be a solution for you. So I would always have a salad for lunch and dinner with hardly any carbs, tons of dressing, avocado, tahini, you name it. I would put so many dips and sauces, all the yummies on it, obviously. But what you don't realize, if you go to order a salad somewhere, it will usually tell you what the calories are that you're gonna eat. And sometimes it's really sneaky. You have a salad with quinoa and avocado and chicken, and all of a sudden it's 700 calories. I can make that exact same salad at home for 350 calories. It's like half. That's less than half. You can kind of just get fooled by food. Calorie is a way to measure how much energy your body uses from food in a day. And that's what your BMR is. It's everything your body uses up in a day. One great tool I have to suggest for figuring out what all your information is, type it all into ChatGPT. Here's the things that you should say. What is my BMR? This is how active I am. Your age, your height, and your weight. My BMR personally is about 1477. And that's if I lay on the couch all day long. If I move my body at all, generally the workouts that I do, I wear a little Whoop band that tracks everything or an Oura ring. I'll burn around 250, 300 calories. So I'm almost at 1800 calories for the day. That would mean I would need to eat more than 1800 calories in a day in order to over time gain weight. You don't gain weight in one day. The scale might change, you might gain a pound or two, but it's all water weight. Over time, over a full week, if you were to eat 3,500 calories more than what you burn, then you will gain 1 pound. That collectively over time continue to lump sum. And if you're not paying attention to what foods you're eating and you're having nut butters before bed, or you're binging out on chips or fries or fried food, or eating too many seed oils, things that cause inflammation. Let's take 1 gram across 3 different categories. We have fat, we have protein, and we have carbs. Fat is almost double the amount of calories as the carb and the protein. So if we want to maximize the amount of food that we eat in a day, we're going to want to focus on the proteins and the carbs. Fats last. If I look at my pie chart of what I am to eat, half of that pie chart about is going to be protein. And then a little quadrant is going to be carbs, and then I'm going to have a tiny sliver in the top that's fat. That will allow you to eat the most amount of protein and the most amount of food. I like food. I like to eat food. So you have to kind of understand that you don't gain a pound or 5 pounds from a week's vacation. You're not going to gain 5 pounds from that. What you're going to gain 5 pounds from is the collective eating of food over time that you can't control. The way I've found control, portion control, and monitoring what I'm eating by recording everything and writing it down. I have my favorite app, which I talked about in several other videos, and it is called Lose It. Better, more effective version of MyFitnessPal. And I don't want you to go crazy and like obsess over 1 gram blueberry in your yogurt. It's overall giving you an idea of how much you are eating so that you know how much you should be putting in your body versus how much you were putting in your body. I would just take a spoonful straight to the nut butter at night, and I would just eat it straight out of the jar. God forbid I put it on toast, because the toast has carbs and the jam has sugar. So I was afraid of that, but I was eating all this fat and thinking I was okay, because I used to do keto, and keto was a whole like high fat diet, you know how it goes. And so I believed that if I ate more fat, I would be fine. Actually, that was what my problem was. You can't eat that much fat and lose weight unless you cut out everything else. And that's a choice, you know, if you want to do the keto diet and that works for you, fine. For me, I wanted to allow myself to have things that weren't keto, because the minute you go a little bit above that in the carb count, you're kind of screwed. You get a little stuck in it, right? And you feel like, oh my gosh, if I have a few too many carbs, then I fall out, and then you really fall out, and then you gain all the way back and then some, because your body is so out of whack from all the different changes you've done to it. So the best way to do this is to learn, because the only way to move forward with your life and to be satisfied with the decisions you make is to understand what you're putting in your body and how you're fueling it and how you're using that fuel. So then you feel better. I'll go have pizza with my boyfriend now for dinner. That's something I never would have done in the past because I would be so afraid of carbs. In the beginning of this whole process, I was like, oh no, I can't do that. That's too many calories. But now I just understand that you're not gonna gain weight that quickly. It's just not gonna happen. I don't wanna look sickly, ill, skinny, twiglet. I just wanna be healthy. And I'm pretty dang close to that. Over this entire process of time, I've lost 2.5 pounds of fat. If you think about what 2.5 pounds of fat is, that's like a lot. So overall, I just look the same, but I just look leaner and more toned. And my muscle mass has stayed the same even though I work out really, really hard every single day. All that's to say, what I'm doing is working because I'm not losing the muscle and I'm losing the fat. And that's all I could ever ask for. I talked about this in my other video, but another food that I've not been eating is olive oil or avocado oil or sunflower oil in massive amounts. So if I'm cooking, I'll do a quick little spritz of avocado oil or olive oil, and I won't do a whole glug of it. And like butters, things that have fat. Fats are good for you. There are generally enough fats in the foods you're going to be eating from your protein sources to sustain your fat count for the day. Trust me, just trust me. If you're trying to lose fat, fat should be restricted to some degree. Any bodybuilder will tell you that they got lean because they stopped eating the egg yolks, the cheeses, the nuts, the dips, the hummuses, the teeny excess oils. Some avocado's fine. I'm not saying it's not. For example, my boyfriend's sister had a little barbecue thing and they made tacos. The whole lineup was bell peppers and meats and the tortillas, avocado, salsa. I just limited myself avocado because there's so much other fat going on. I don't need it, you know? So foods that I'm definitely eating more of. Cottage cheese. I love Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, non-fat. I also post post on my other socials some of my lunch, breakfast, meal ideas, what I eat in a day, things like that. So if that interests you, please check that out. Nut milks with really clean ingredients. I still incorporate whole milk in my coffee because it's so good and it does have protein. So I guess if you're gonna have something with a lot of calories, let it be protein. Like instead of the avocado, I would rather have cottage cheese because it's kind of a similar texture, but it has all this protein and half the amount of calories than the avocado. Pick your poison. And instead of eating a chicken thigh with the skin, I've been eating more chicken breast, chicken tenders. You can get them pre-sliced at the store. And then I put them on the skillet, 3 minutes per side, easy, done. That's just my favorite way to eat chicken because I find that breasts are too big. You have to deal with them. You have to cut them up. It's like, this is just a lot easier. And then sirloin and filet mignon is the leanest steak option. And I do eat a lot of steak. And of course, if you're going to get ground chicken, ground turkey, those are the better options. But if you're going to get ground beef, let it be 93% lean. I also said the spray avocado oil for cooking. Ugh, my favorite snack for low calorie is watermelon or berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Also, you can have apples because one full apple is 95 calories. So it's a really good option as well. And then for dressings, I know I got asked this question. The dressing I do is usually just Dijon mustard, lemon, salt, pepper, a little bit of olive oil. That's it. Dijon, I mean, it's nothing fancy. And for carbs, my favorite is sweet potato, but you can also have rice. There's oats. Those are your best options. Also, I found this bread. It's Dave's bread and it's 60 calories for one slice of bread. So I'll have that every morning with a little smear of butter on top, a couple egg whites and one whole egg. And that's just the perfect breakfast for me. Instead of bacon, do chicken sausage. If this isn't all making sense to you, let me just break down my food chart of like my protein breakdown. So I aim to get 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. And sometimes I'm more, sometimes I'm less. Again, progress isn't linear. It's all over the place. I try every day to hit my protein goals, which for me is 127, 130 grams, and I'll go from there. And if you eat that many grams of protein, of lean proteins, it will allow the rest of your calories to come from other foods like carbs and fats. That's why I also don't fear carbs anymore because I'm eating things like sweet potatoes or like healthy breads or sourdoughs or rice. And I'm not eating things that are bad for me like pastas and cereals and granolas, things like that. Sugar is a big one. I've been eating a lot more fruit lately, especially because it is summer now. And so I'm having more watermelon and more papaya and more berries. Always buy your fruits in season. I want to make sure I do at least 1,200 calories in the day. Don't ever go under that. I don't think it's ever healthy for anyone to ever go under 1,200 calories. So if you're BMR and you go online and you type it in and you don't move at all and it's 1,200 calories, you need to be building more muscle. You need to be building more muscle because it will make your BMR go up higher and it will allow you to eat more food. That's also why I walk so much and why I work out so much, because it allows me to eat more. Imagine if I didn't walk at all or work out at all and then I ate like I do. Of course, I'm going to gain weight. Like that just, it makes sense because if my body is physically only capable of burning this much, but I feed it more than that, it's gonna well exceed my BMR. So I hope that makes sense. I also don't really track when I go out because I already know I write off for the day that I'm going to be going out. I know alcohol, 1 glass of something will generally have 150 calories of wine, or if you have like a cocktail, it can be 150 to 200 calories for the cocktail. So if you add that by 2 drinks, then you have 3 drinks, then you have 4 drinks, that's like over half your calories for the day. So drinking overall will just tack on so many more calories that you don't need to be consuming. So that also helps me limit how much alcoholic drinks I have. Instead of having 4, I will have 2 or 1, and I feel better about that. And I'll opt out of the dessert because I'm like, oh, I probably like way overdid it today in the snacks. So it's all about the balance and figuring out what works for you and not being so psychotic about it. Like, I trust your ability to manage yourself emotionally and not go crazy into this. Just do better than you're doing now if you feel like you're having an issue. And I hope that some of these tips make sense to you. If you're somebody who feels like you're under eating, somebody who I didn't mention in this video yet, you feel like you're under eating and you're not losing weight and your body is just bulky or like puffy or inflamed and you're like, I couldn't possibly eat less, you need to slowly incorporate more food with reverse dieting to get your metabolism working again, because it's so slow because you don't feed it anything. You need to eat more in order to to even live a healthy lifestyle in order to look healthier. And if you're tired and lethargic and unhappy and grumpy all the time, of course you don't want to get up and go out on a walk or a good partner or a good parent because you're exhausted. So please just don't overwork out, don't undereat, try to figure out what your BMR is with your activity on top, figure out what that number is, and then subtract it by 500. That's all you need to do. No more than that. Please don't be eating less than that. If you lose weight too quickly and you're too hungry all the time, you're gonna feel like you're dieting and then you're gonna crash and you're gonna binge eat to catch back up. I notice the days that I don't eat enough and I go to bed, I wake up the next day and I could eat my entire kitchen. I'm so hungry. But now because I only do little baby steps of the -500, lose a pound a week, then you can slowly feel like you're actually losing weight without suffering. You're better off not doing that HIIT workout and just walking a ton and going on little things or cleaning your house and standing up every 15 minutes from your desk just to get some movement in. That's called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And if you work out too hard in a workout class, you're gonna do less NEAT. And sometimes your NEAT will be more calories than your workout. If you're somebody whose BMR is under 1200, I would focus on strength training, practice reverse dieting slowly, and consider working with a coach or an RD. Starving isn't sustainable. Fuel your body, build muscle. I really hope this video helped clear up some things. I could gab about this forever. There's so much more to say. So I hope this video changed your relationship with food a little bit, because I've struggled and obsessed over food for so long and I finally feel free of that obsession. And I want that for you. I want us to help each other in a community to be stronger, healthier, leaner, more empowered, happier women. Food shouldn't be self-destruction. Let's make it our superpower. Let's overcome this together. I love you. I'm here for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm so happy to help you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I notice sometimes that my videos don't get pushed out, so please hit the bell so that you get alerts when my videos come out, which is every Sunday morning. So I'll see you guys in the next video.